Okay, so I want you to imagine something for a second. Picture the ultimate modern security setup. Like if a city was handed a totally blank check today to build a public safety network from the grounds up, what actually comes to mind? Right? You're probably picturing this massive, dense web of digital surveillance, or maybe a super highly trained police force on every corner. Or honestly, maybe you're picturing something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Well, whatever it is you're thinking of, the reality might actually blow it right out of the water. Because I'm telling you, the reality over in the United Arab Emirates, it already feels like stepping onto a movie set in the year 2050. We are literally talking about autonomous driverless police cars just cruising down the streets. We're talking robotic vehicles that have built-in drones just waiting to launch. And yes, absolutely, electric flying motorbikes built to carry police officers straight into the sky. It is completely wild. But as we're going to see in this explainer, these futuristic gadgets, they're really just the tip of a much, much deeper iceberg. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the multi-layered approach the UAE uses to keep its nation secure. We're going to unpack exactly how they blend super rigid legal frameworks, proactive urban planning, literally space-age technology, and everyday citizens into this one massive comprehensive system. And they have a name for it. They call it defense in depth. So to really wrap our heads around how this works, we're going to break it down into 4 key pillars. First, the foundation of strict laws. Second, proactive security and planning. Third, those sci-fi security systems. And finally, community and human engagement. Let's get right into it. Section 1, the foundation of strict laws, which is essentially a zero-tolerance bedrock. Because look, before any of those high-tech drones can even take flight, this entire security apparatus has to rely on a remarkably firm legal foundation. And that starts with Federal Decree Law Number 17. Under this law, the state maintains absolute ironclad control over dangerous materials. For UAE citizens, sure, possessing or carrying a weapon is allowed, but only with incredibly strict licenses. And even then, nowhere are they bringing them into military, government, or vital facilities. That's a huge red line. But for everyone else, non-citizens, it is strictly 100% prohibited to possess, carry, import, or trade any weapon, ammunition, or explosive, period. And the penalty if you don't observe this? Severe criminal liability. So what they're doing here is creating a highly controlled physical baseline. And that baseline is exactly why their tech systems can afford to focus on other anomalies. But you know, this legal net extends way beyond just physical weapons. Enter Federal Decree Law Number 34 of 2023. This law actively goes after acts intended to incite hate speech or disturb the public peace. It strictly penalizes attacks on religious beliefs, rituals, and sacred elements. It also explicitly outlaws the distortion, damage, or even insult of holy books, not to mention disrespectful behavior toward prophets, places of worship, or even cemeteries and graves. The core legal strategy here, they are essentially mandating public peace by firmly legislating against discrimination and ideological extremism. And that ideological framework plugs right into their anti-terrorism law. There's this really fascinating piece in there, Article 41. It outlines a highly unique legal mechanism. Basically, if an individual is deemed terrorism-prone, a court ruling and a public prosecution request can actually mandate that they be sent to specialized guidance centers. The stated goal in the legislation isn't just standard incarceration. It's to rehabilitate individuals who have been exposed to extremism and then eventually integrate them back into society. It's a very structured legal pathway aimed at neutralizing threats through rehabilitation. Moving right along to Section 2, proactive security through urban planning. And the philosophy driving this one is pretty brilliant. The best way to handle a crime is to just engineer the environment so it never actually happens in the first place. This is where we see the literal application of that concept, defense in depth. And that's a term pulled straight from the Abu Dhabi Safety and Security Planning Manual, or the SSPM for short. This manual basically dictates that safety and security literally have to be woven into the actual urban development proposals of the city. The theory is profound, but honestly, it's pretty simple. Spaces that are out of common sight breed crime. Out of sight, out of mind, right? So by physically altering the layout of the city, they are reducing crime through environmental design. They blend physical security, personnel, and information to deter, delay, detect, and completely deny an attack. It totally flips how we think about the architecture around us. But here's the thing. Proactive planning isn't just physical anymore. It's digital and it's cultural. The UAE has launched these massive institutional initiatives which have these beautifully fitting Arabic names. First up, there's the Hedaya Center. Hedaya translates to guidance, and it was set up to counter violent extremism by promoting understanding and sharing best practices on a global scale. Then you have the Sawab Center. Sawab means doing the right thing, and this one is an online initiative specifically built to fight false claims and restrict violent extremist messaging on the internet, basically amplifying credible anti-terror voices. So they aren't just engineering safety in the physical streets, they're doing it on the digital highways too. Okay, let's get into Section 3, Sci-Fi Security Systems and Cutting-Edge Tech, because this is where that physical engineering and those strict laws meet some truly mind-blowing technology. Just take Dubai's driverless mini police cars, for example. And guys, these are not just remote-controlled toys. These are fully autonomous, self-driving units that patrol tourist hotspots all on their own. They use onboard biometric software to actively scan crowds, literally hunting for known criminals or persons of interest. They can flag suspicious objects and track suspects completely independently. And wait, it gets crazier. If a suspect runs, the vehicle has a built-in drone that literally shoots out from a rear sleeve to take the pursuit into the sky. And the whole time, everything is being monitored live back at the Dubai Police Command Room. It's like something out of a comic book. 70 kilometers per hour. That is the top speed of Dubai's hoversurf. What is a hoversurf, you ask? It's an electric flying motorbike. Yeah, you heard that right. Unveiled specifically as a model for police use, this bike can lift an officer up to 5 meters into the air. It's designed to fly for up to 25 minutes and can carry a payload of 300 kilograms. And the main reason they have this? To completely bypass heavy traffic during critical emergencies. Imagine the roads are totally gridlocked, and an officer literally just flies over it all to get to the scene. Incredible. Now, over in Abu Dhabi, the technology takes a slightly different but just as pervasive form. First, you've got Falcon Eye. This is a massive, centralized visual system that pulls in live feeds from cameras all over the city. The roads, the airport, the main islands, you name it. It tracks everything from illegal parking and hard shoulder driving to major incidents, sending out immediate warnings. Working right alongside that is the IRS system. This is a high-speed biometric tool that runs a mathematical analysis on the random patterns in a person's eye. It is lightning fast. We're talking about a system that can accurately detect a wanted person in a matter of seconds, based entirely on their eye print. No IDs required. Which brings us to our final pillar, Section 4, Community Engagement as a Collective Duty. Because let's be real. All of this high-tech gear, the drones, the biometric scanners, the smart cameras, it would all be completely incomplete without the absolute most crucial layer of all, the public. The government makes it very clear that national security isn't just a police job, it's a collective responsibility. To actually mobilize the public, different emirates have set up their own specific, dedicated channels for citizen reporting. Look at Abu Dhabi. They have the Aman system, which gathers info to help security agencies stop planned crimes before they happen. Down in Dubai, there's the Al Amin service, offering 24/7, totally confidential reporting for any problems or concerns you might have. And over in Sharjah, the Al Najid system handles tips specifically regarding threats to societal stability. What they've essentially done is customize these hotlines across the entire country to turn every single resident into an active, breathing node in the security web. And the best part? Residents actually use them all the time. And these real-world reports, they aren't always about major cinematic heists. We're talking about citizens calling in just to report some fraudulent text messages they got on their phones, or stepping up to flag a local blacksmith shop because they saw them selling knives to teenagers. It just goes to show how the community really acts as this final, ultra-sensitive sensory layer in the nation's defense in-depth strategy. Because at the end of the day, human beings catch those nuanced everyday anomalies that even a high-tech biometric drone might just fly right past. Which kind of leaves us with a really complex question to chew on. When we look at this entire model, from those foundational zero-tolerance laws in the environmental urban design, all the way up to flying police motorbikes and highly engaged neighborhood watch networks, how do we, as a global society, balance high-tech surveillance with community responsibility? The UAE's defense in-depth strategy is undeniably thorough. I mean, they are layering every single preventative measure imaginable right on top of one another. But as technology just keeps evolving at this breakneck pace, it forces us to stop and ask, what exactly do we want the future of our own cities to look like? Thanks so much for exploring this with me today, and as always, keep learning.